Good morning, Highlands, Presbyterian. So today we're focused on the authority of Scripture. We talked about sovereignty of God last week. We'll talk about justification next week, and then the priesthood of all believers. But today is about the authority of Scripture. And in society, in a postmodern society where we question authority, where people don't trust the traditional sources of authority, we say that we believe that Scripture is authoritative. And so the goal today is to give us some ways to read Scripture. There's 3 rules that we have: the rule of faith, the rule of love, and the rule of hope. And that our reading of Scripture should help us grow in faith in a sovereign God. It should help us grow in love toward God and towards our neighbors, and it should grow in hope. Hope about who we are, hope about where the world is going, and hope that can be firmly placed in that sovereign God. And so our readings of Scripture help us grow in those things. And if we're reading Scripture in a way that doesn't, we need to keep reading, keep asking questions, keep studying. And then also we need to be aware of our context. And the world we live in today is different than the one in this was written. And so how does that help us understand that? How do we study it? How do we read passages of Scripture and the passages around it and the other passages in the Bible that interpret one another, so that we come to a fuller understanding of what the intent of Scripture is? And then when we give it authority, that it should get us excited about who God is and where God is leading things, because we know the big picture story. And so we give it authority, and we fall into that. We fall into the God that we trust, who then pushes us out into the world to love one another and spread the good news that Scripture tells us a story of a God in love with us, who's redeeming us, who's redeeming the world, and invites us all to be a part of God's kingdom. What good news that is.